It all started when a bright-eyed, energetic Stu Macher appeared on screen. His presence was so infectious from the moment he joked with his friends at the water fountain until the very last moment in the kitchen, unveiling his maniacal side. You could not help but fall in love with this character. Let's deep dive and talk about why this character made quite an impression on us Scream/Matthew Lillard fans. Let's celebrate the brilliance of Matthew Lillard and his acting. From the very first moment we are hit with that iconic opening scene that leaves us in chills. I remember when I first saw Scream, I was too afraid to finish it, because I was afraid of that opening scene. Casey Becker's death left me in fear, and the sight of Ghostface haunted me. But when I finally got through that opening scene, there were characters I watched attentively. Sydney, of course, was the one I related to the most. Randy was the geeky movie nerd with all of the knowledge that fanboyed like the rest of us about horror movies. Tatum was the sassy best friend who always had Sydney's back. Dewey was bumbly, naive, and had his eyes on the ruthless reporter, Gail. Opposites definitely attracted with them too. Billy, I was on the fence with. He always seemed shady to me, so I kept my guard up with him. And then we had Stu. Stu Macher. His personality was so magnetic, menacing at times, but his eccentricities only made us love him more. The lines and the way Matthew Lillard presented them, you could not help but quote them. I still quote them to this day. He balanced out crazy with comical so well. His craziness somehow only tugged at your heartstrings. He was so likable, even though he was in fact one of the Ghostface killers. The way he played villain, I have not seen it played that way. At least not very often. Definitely like a Freddy Krueger kind of character. How Robert Englund was able to make us laugh as well as scaring the pants off of us with that character. He had the perfect balance. Stu Macher managed to find that balance as well. He was sloppy, and it appears that he was Billy's sidekick. And yet he was so much more than that. Stu would have done anything for Billy. We will never fully understand their dynamic, but it worked when you saw them together on screen. How they trusted each other enough to stab one another, only to turn on one another, due to their own personal psychosis. Billy had his own motive why he was a killer. He was seeking revenge on Sydney because of her mother tearing apart Billy's family. The look on Stu's face when Billy reveals that little tidbit tells us that Billy never told Stu why they were killing people. It makes me think that Billy was using Stu to assist in playing out Billy's sole plan to avenge his abandonment issues. Stu was along for the ride. Was he just plain crazy that he wanted to know what it felt like to snap and kill people? Did Stu just want attention because he wasn't getting attention at home? Was Stu trying to impress Billy? Killing for him? Did they have a friendship that felt like it would only be bonded through doing an act that not a lot of people do together? There's still so many questions I have about Stu's character. On the surface, Stu appeared to be a normal teen with a zest for life, having fun, making jokes to make everyone laugh around him. But underneath, deep down, there was a dark curiosity that caused him to reach depths of depravity that you can never come back from. I think he just loved spiraling. He got lost with Billy, drunk with control, and the way Billy was impressed with him. But you can tell Stu was snapping out of it a tad when he asks Sid, "Did you really call the cops? My mom and dad are gonna be so mad at me." He was truly worried about his parents and what they thought about the heinous acts that he committed. It was a game to Stu. He wanted to play because Billy was playing along with him. But when reality hit, Stu was too far gone to stop playing. So it leads to the mystery. Is Stu dead? Kevin Williamson wanted Stu to be in Scream 3. Keep that in mind. He wanted Stu to lead a cult from prison. He would have finally had the spotlight he deserved. Out of Billy's shadow. But due to a certain tragedy, that idea had to be scrapped. Unfortunately. So the question remains, and it will always remain, unless if we get an answer in Scream 6, or perhaps even Scream 7. Wes Craven adored Matthew Lillard's performance. He allowed Matthew to truly shine, and that's why we love Stu so much. He is not just a character on paper. Matthew painted a vivid picture, embodied its vibrance, and he ran with it. Stu straddled the fence of villain and a relatable character, which is why we love him so much. Here's a confession. I had a crush on Stu Macher when I was a youngster, causing quite a Matthew Lillard obsession, leading me to keep a close eye on his movies as they came out. So I know a thing or two about his movies. Stu had me hooked from day one. Stu will always have a special place in my heart. In my movie geeked out heart. He's the reason why Matthew Lillard is one of my fave actors. Hence why I felt compelled to make January Matthew Lillard month. With my channel, I feel like the sky's the limit. Matthew Lillard movies are incredible and worth talking about, so let's celebrate Matthew's birthday while also celebrating his movies. This is only the beginning. This is gonna be fun. Join me and let's celebrate Matthew Lillard together. This is Carey Craves Cinema. Stay geeky for movies, my friends.